Today we're answering a question that I feel like everybody has wondered. Would a black widow win against a Venus flytrap? Let's find out. Before we start, my thought is that the Venus flytrap is gonna win against everything that they show in this video.
Would the trap close on top of the spider and eat it whole? Or would the black widow be able to use its venom to squeeze its way out? Well, I'm gonna be testing just that, along with tons of other insect types to see how strong Venus flytraps really are. Now, to get a Venus flytrap, you gotta, of course, buy one online, and so I found this website. There was two different options.
They're only $10. I really thought that they were more rare and would be like thousands of dollars because I do not see this just normally in any household.
This flytrap bundle and an expensive $100 bundle. Oh, this is actually perfect. I think I'm gonna buy both of these trap bundles. Then I'll be able to test the cheap and expensive traps to see which will be more effective at catching insects. So, hey, I guess let me just check them out. And thankfully, only a couple days later, I got the traps delivered in the mail. After taking them out, I separated them into cheap and expensive.
Why does the cheap ones look better and like more grown than the expensive ones? These look way worse.
The cheap Venus flytraps actually gave me quite a lot for just $10. And the traps themselves did look pretty healthy, big, and had that signature green and red color. Nice. However, over on the expensive side, you can see these are a bit different. They're not even packaged at all, and they look way more natural with moss all around.
This guy was literally getting scammed. Look how small these are. They don't even look healthy compared to the other ones.
These traps mostly look the same, and hopefully at least one of them will be able to successfully trap a black widow. But before we test the black widow, we also got some other insects to test, starting with a fly. Thankfully, I'm a weird bug guy, so I just got a container of a bunch of flies.
So you can start a business in any way. This guy is profiting off of house flies. 400 of them at that.
Actually mostly be dead, but I think some are alive in there. First of all, let's get the plants in their testing chambers, and we'll be testing the strength of the cheap $10 traps first. Without wasting any time, I just put in a single fly and put 30 minutes on the clock. And if it gets caught before the timer's up, I'll add in some more flies. But instantly, as you can see, the fly started to climb along the glass to try and escape. Thankfully, though, I've sealed this enclosure shut, and once the fly realized that, he ended up going back down to the floor. Now, this is where things get interesting, because the fly landed on one of the pots with all of the Venus flytrap plants. What makes Venus flytraps so effective is actually their nectar. Just like normal flowers.
Are you serious? I thought that it was because they just like trapped it, but I didn't actually know like what killed it once they were trapped. All of my knowledge of Venus flytraps literally just comes from Super Mario.
These traps also produce nectar around this little green lip part of the plant.
Learn something new every single day. Honestly, I never looked at them up close. These are pretty terrifying. I actually don't know the effect that they have on humans, which I'm kind of curious about now.
There are hungry insects in, and while they're eating the plant, of course, it's shut. But I guess because these plants are so cheap, they didn't have very much of that nectar. This time, he got a little bit too close because he stepped onto one of the traps, and it could literally close on him now. But the trap took a second too long.
This fly has no chill. This fly literally has the survival instincts of a peanut. You see something with giant claws like this around you, and you're just chilling there? No. Flies are like the dumbest of all of the insects, I swear.
And the fly was able to fly out once it sensed the movement. You see, Venus flytraps have a very interesting system for how they detect prey and activate their...
This Venus flytrap is slow. It was there for like a hot minute, and then it started closing the second it flew away. It might be dumber than the insect, but at least this one has a reason. It's a plant.
Which I'll go more in depth with when the trap actually traps an insect. For now, the fly just sort of walked around on the dirt for the rest of the timer, and well, the cheap trap was a fail. Thankfully, over on the right, we got the expensive one though. So I put in a new fly, and let's get the timer started to see how quickly this guy gets caught. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this fly was a bit crazier than that first one. He just flew around the entire enclosure like he was insane, just hitting all the glass trying to escape. But after he tired himself out, it was time for the Venus flytraps to do their thing. Instantly, you can tell the fly was way more drawn to the traps, as these expensive ones have a much stronger, more smelly nectar. And that was proven because right after, the fly walked in one of the traps.
No!
Quickly, it walked out right as the trap closed. Yeah, you can see.
These are so slow. I could have clipped his wing at least. This plant is dumb.
See, in this instant replay, the trap may have missed the fly, but comparing the cheap and expensive traps, the expensive one closes way faster. And only a minute later, the fly was still chilling near the traps. And this time, the nectar caught him off guard because he walked onto the trap and put his face straight up to the lip of the plant where it was.
No! I cannot watch this. I literally hate insects. Like, they are the most disgusting things ever to me, whether that's a fly, an ant. Like, I hate all insects. Even the tiniest of insects, I hate them. This just makes me sad. Like, I for some reason feel so much like sympathy for these little bugs when they get caught in this stuff. Like, I know it's like the circle of life or whatever, but I just cannot.
Well, yeah, the video is paused right now, but you could probably tell what's about to happen. Just like that, the trap got a perfect close on the fly. You see, every single Venus flytrap has these super tiny trigger hairs inside of the jaws. And when a bug or something touches more than 2 of them, the trap starts to close. And these expensive
I
ones
didn't
are
know
able
that's
to
what it
close
was.
so quickly that they catch most of prey that steps inside. You can see slight bits of movement inside over the next 20 minutes, but over the next few days, the trap is going to release a type of acid on the fly to digest it down and grow even
This
stronger.
is like
Well, it only
a
took 5
torture method. This sounds worse than the electric chair in terms of bugs. This looks so sad. They're literally just like squiggling around in there trying to escape for days. That's just wrong.
minutes for that to trap the fly, and the cheap one didn't catch any. So the expensive one definitely takes home the win, and I think I'm gonna have to rate him a 3 out of 10 for how entertaining it was to watch.
At least the guy
And I
didn't
just
get
say
banned.
that because the next 2 insects should be way more interesting, especially the Black Widow. I have no idea what's gonna happen with that. Anyways, second up though, we got crickets to test. Thankfully, crickets can't fly or climb glass, so they should be way easier to catch. And after letting one loose in the cheap enclosure, I put 30 minutes on the clock. While the cricket spent most of its time just walking on the dirt along the side of the glass to, of course, try and find an escape. Because let's be real, every
Ew.
cricket that's...
Can we talk about how gross crickets are? Are these the things that make noise? Because I remember them being green. Like, just looking at this, I swear I'm not gonna sleep tonight because when I look at videos of bugs and stuff, when it's nighttime, I start freaking out and I feel like I can feel them crawling on me. But hopefully that doesn't happen tonight after seeing this thing, though.
But after 5 minutes, he made his first approach
Oh,
to the
he's
traps.
cooked.
And one
He's
thing I should
cooked.
probably say is that the crickets are way more attracted to nectar as it's a primary part in their diet.
Oh,
And
no,
that was
they do
shown
look like
because soon after, the cricket started to climb on the outside of the jaws of
He's
this
cooked.
trap. And right after that, I actually realized the cricket had stepped inside one of the traps and it sort of looked like it was drinking nectar. But hello, Venus flytrap. There's a cricket standing in
This guy has the worst reaction time.
and when it was finished drinking the nectar, it started to walk out, and then finally the trap closed. Good job, bro. You were only a minute late at closing. I guess the cricket must have just not hit a trigger hair inside until the very end, which is why that happened. I wanted to add in 3 more crickets to make this more interesting.
cute.
And at 5 minutes left, this happened. You see, this cricket started to walk up the stem of this trap. Then he walked inside, realized it was a dead end, and tried to turn around. But it was too late because the trap closed on him, leaving him half stuck
That is
inside.
torture.
So I literally just got some time-lapse footage of this guy to see if he'd be able to escape. And actually, while I was recording that, another cricket below also stepped into one of the traps. And he also got half of his body stuck inside. Thankfully, this cricket was able to use some of
I
the...
hate crickets, but that's so sad.
However, I don't know if this guy will be
Free
able
my
to do the
boy.
same, since he's in the air and has nothing to grab onto. So, I guess I'll just leave you here.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
boy. Good luck. But anyways, that concludes the timer, and I would call this a half success for the cheap plants this time, but oh boy, am I excited to do this with the expensive traps. I didn't want to waste any time, so I put in 1 cricket. And this time, the cricket instantly walked towards the traps, like within a couple seconds. And he started to just play with his life, because he would just be walking through the plants like this, narrowly escaping the insane speed of these expensive Venus flytraps. He wasn't so lucky, because the trap got an absolutely perfect close on him. And well, it only took 7
He was being so smart. I guess these things aren't as stupid as I thought. Though that looks vicious.
minutes for the expensive traps to fully capture a cricket. So once again, I'm gonna have to give the win to expensive. And I think I'm gonna rate that a 6 out of 10 for entertainment, because way more traps closed, which was fun to watch. But you already know what time it is. It is a Black Widow o'clock. Yeah,
Okay,
it's time to
I'm
test the
excited
Black
for that.
Widow.
Okay, but like for real, what do we think is gonna win? I honestly thought that it would be the Venus flytrap, but it could be the Black Widow because Black Widows are strong and they're deadly. I'm gonna put my money on the Black Widow. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think though.
Never actually just seen a Black Widow walking around where I live. I don't know why. I guess they just don't have them here in my state.
So the only way to get one was to get out the laptop and find a website selling them. I ended up finding a good listing on this website, so I bought some.
I did not
and
know
the
they
next
sell
day,
them.
They got delivered to my house. As you can see, I bought a pretty good amount of
Did
them.
he really need 5 of them? This was just him being weird. Only needed 2 for this experiment.
You can probably also see they're super creepy. They got that
Ew.
signature glossy black color, a massive abdomen, and
Where's
of
the red?
course they got the red hourglasses on the back of that abdomen to let you know they're extremely venomous. In fact, something I just learned about these guys is their venom is actually 15 times more potent than rattlesnake venom. That's why when I opened the container to get a closer look, I got extremely scared when they started running away straight towards me.
Bro, that Black Widow just ran out of here. He webbed down the side of the table and just started running around the floor. But don't worry, I actually scooped them up into this box I had.
Oh my gosh, I was so scared that this guy lost them. Losing a black widow in your house is probably one of the scariest things that could happen. I would genuinely just move out at that point.
Black widows.
Anyways, I went and put one of the black widows inside the cheap trap enclosure and got 30 minutes on the clock. This is about to get interesting. Let's see what happens. Right away, the black widow made her way towards the traps. Now, black widows are a lot slower than crickets and flies, so if this spider steps inside a trap, there's a high likelihood of it getting caught. And while nothing really happened for the first couple of minutes, eventually the spider started to walk along the tops of some of the traps. You can see black widows are very meticulous with their movement, and it would very carefully place its legs above the trap, making sure not to step inside. But even with that, the spider was playing a dangerous game, because all it needed was
so
one bad
gross.
step. Anyways, about 15 minutes later, I noticed that the spider had actually started to spin a little bit of silk, and maybe it was planning on building its web here. But unfortunately, she would never get to
Jeez, he is comfortable. It's been like 10 minutes and he's already starting to build a home. Does he think this is Minecraft?
finish because she took a wrong turn into the Venus flytrap.
Jesus, huge.
And, well, it closed straight on her. Almost perfectly. However, there
I'm
was
about to
still
lose my
some
money.
legs sticking out. To be honest, it didn't look good for the Black Widow, and besides a few leg twitches, it looked like the spider had just lost to the Venus flytrap.
No!
And if you thought
Really hope that he manages to make it out. I have faith in the Black Widow because it just seems so much stronger and it's like huge. It could barely trap it inside. So I'm gonna still have some hope.
that was cool, well, you gotta see the expensive Venus flytraps because right after putting the Black Widow in, he instantly walked up to a Venus flytrap. And literally within the first 30 seconds of the timer, he stepped inside one of the traps, ducked down a little bit too much, and the trap closed on him within an instant. In my opinion, this one was even cooler to watch. And yeah, his legs were also just stuck sticking
feel
out of
so
the sides of the
bad.
trap. And well, hopefully that answers the question. Venus flytraps do beat Black Widows.
Honestly, he did not stand a chance. He barely fought to get out. So I guess that answers everybody's question. Venus flytrap wins. I lost my money. Guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.